Hello, everybody. My name is Fraser Cain, and I am the publisher of Universe Today, and this is your virtual star party for November 18th, 2012. I can already tell this is going to be the silly edition. So we're clearly in a goofy mood. Now, are all the Americans, you guys going to be having a holiday soon?
Just a little one.
Yeah,
When
it's
is that?
Thursday.
Is that
Thursday.
Thursday? Okay, all right. Yeah. All right. So I guess we'll see what'll happen next week. So I am joined this week first with some astronomers. We've got our good friend Gary Gonella, who has this beautiful view of Andromeda and a satellite. And where are you, Gary? Why do we have to see this picture and not your smiling face?
I'm there.
Oh, there he is.
There he is.
Bounce around to too many different things. Hello.
Gary is located down in Los Angeles. We've got Mike Chasin, who's in the San Diego area, operating his telescope through the magic of the internet. We've got Roy Salisbury, who's in Las Vegas, operating his remote telescope. How awesome is this? And we've got two new people joining us this week. We've got Kristian Jerslev. I hope I said that okay. Is that all right? And Jens Rigelsen from Denmark. And,
Yay, Denmark!
It's so awesome. So, it's like we keep saying, good night, and they keep saying good morning, and that's because it is, 3 in the morning there for you guys?
3 a.m., yeah.
Oh, and what's great about this is that you're able to provide us a sneak preview of what everyone else will see in about 4 months. So this is great. You get a chance to see what we're going to look into the future and see some objects that we wouldn't be able to normally see.
I hate to say this, but it's either 4 months or just wait 6 hours for the planet to rotate. It'll still be dark.
for the virtual star party is all I'm saying. All right, and so from the Peanut Gallery, we've got Dr. Pamela Gay, my co-host on Astronomy Cast, and we've got Scott Lewis.
Hi, everyone.
Who's going to be running Stellarium tonight, and we've got Dr. Thod.
Vlad,
the available Dr. Thad Szabo. Hey guys, how's it going?
Get in the observatory.
Kneel before
Thanks so
talk.
much for bringing the images last week from your cold trip to Joshua Tree.
Sure, thanks. No, it was great out there. Just just quite a bit chilly. So
yeah, how far away is it from where you're in the Los Angeles area too, right?
yeah, I'm in West LA, so I'm about 4 or 5 miles from the Pacific Ocean. So that's a good 2.5 hour drive inland to get out to near Joshua Tree like that. It's worth it though. Definitely worth it.
It's gorgeous out there.
Yeah, and the temperatures get colder and colder as you get away from the coast.
But on the other hand, that's better than trying to go out there in July, where it'd be 115 Fahrenheit during the day, and it would cool down to maybe 85 at night. Yeah, right. not so good.
So just for anyone who has never joined us before, has no idea what this is, I will explain. So we call this the Virtual Star Party, and this is where we hook up a bunch of telescopes live to a Google Plus Hangout, and we share our views with you, the viewer. And so this is totally live, and so we're trying to sort of replicate the experience of what it's like to walk around at a star party and look through a bunch of different telescopes. We've also got 2 PhD astronomers here tonight who can help provide lots and lots of color commentary about what it is that we're looking at, as well as Scott working on his astronomy degrees. There's lots of astronomy knowledge we've got happening. So now if you want to give us any comments or questions, we're happy to answer them. You can find it at a bunch of places. The first place is, if you're watching this on YouTube, you can post your comments into the YouTube comments. If you're watching this on Google+, either on the event page for the Virtual Star Party, you can post your comments there. If you're watching this on, I guess, the post that I made that lists the Hangout, you can do it there. Or if you prefer Twitter, you can always use the hashtag StarParty, and we'll spot all those locations and attempt to interact with you, the audience. So feel free to post any comments, any questions, any special requests for any objects that you'd like to see, and we'll see if we can pull them off. So the other thing that's really cool is over the course of this of the Star Party, you as the viewers can, if you've taken astronomy photographs that you want to contribute, you can just upload those into the event. And so where we posted the event for the Virtual Star Party, you can there's a place where you can upload pictures, and you can put in pictures of either stuff that we take tonight or stuff that you've taken, which would be great. Keep it clean. We'll delete them. If you don't.
Yes. I have the band hammer, and I will.
Do you? You've been wielding the band hammer mightily? All right.
Like Thor, Thad, whatever.
Like God. All right, well, let's get started.
I bestow this power upon you. Actually, I had it before I ever got here.
It's the beard.
Yeah, and Scott is going for no shave Vember. So
yes,
Movember.
Yeah, he's gonna do the whole head, everything.
The whole head. It's so furry.
Actually, someone just asked us, when is the 1-year anniversary of starting these start parties? It's pretty soon, isn't it?
It is.
Did we start before or after Christmas?
We started before. It was in November. Someone should look it up. I should look it up.
You know, I think we might have already hit it.
Yeah, we might have actually. Well, there was a bunch of sort of sample ones we were testing out and playing around with different technologies. Yeah. NatFan4 asks, would we be able to see Ganymede with these telescopes? Absolutely.
Yeah.
Quite easily.
If
And not
Jupiter was
Gallifrey. Gallifrey is out. But
if Jupiter was up, we would have no problem seeing Ganymede. Yeah.
We have Jupiter.
Yeah, it is up
Perfect.
for 2 of our astronomers.
Perfect. Then hopefully we'll be able to get a chance to see Jupiter and whichever moons are visible right now. But usually, those 4 bright moons are visible.
We can certainly give it a try at least.
That'd be wonderful, Kristian.
That'd be wonderful, yeah. Great to see Jupiter back, and especially on that 50-centimeter telescope.
Okay, we're only using the 11-inch.
Oh no! All right, well, let's get started with this first object so people can know what we're looking at. So, Gary, what have we got here? This is from Gary Gonella.
This is M31 Andromeda with a satellite through the picture.
Just so people know, this is current, yeah.
Yes, this is current.
Yeah.
And here's the dark lanes. The center obviously is blown out. This is a 2-minute exposure with the camera binned 4x4. So I'm picking up 16 times the light for each pixel.
And normally you would throw this picture out because of that stupid satellite going through, right?
Yes.
Or you can co-add and do min-max rejection, and it'll keep the pixels that aren't normally this bright and throw out the errant ones.
Yep, I've done that too.
I'm
Really?
a fan of min-max rejection.
I guess I can imagine if you're doing really long exposures, you're going to need to you're going to get satellites going through them, and I guess you don't want to have to
Well,
pull them out.
you never do really long exposures. What you want to do is 10, 15, 100 shorter exposures, because the longer your exposure, the more cosmic rays you're going to build up in your image, and those are just like little bright spots that blight the pixel. So what I would do for astrophotography was I typically take 5 pictures minimum of each of the objects I was interested in, and then I'd average together the values such that average is the wrong word. I'd add together the pictures and reject the maximum valued pixel and reject the minimum valued pixel. And then make sure I moved the camera just a snert between each of the different images. And this way hot pixels got removed, cold pixels got removed, satellites got removed. For some of the galaxy clusters I was chasing, I'd get 20 images per filter.
I
And
think
when I'm
Mac
shooting,
should put on their software to replace the word dither with snert.
Now, what are those other objects in the picture?
This Scott, Thad.
Thad?
We're looking at
the,
M110 there.
The satellite almost connects the 2 dwarf galaxies that orbit the Andromeda galaxy. So so the one in the upper left is M110, a little bit more diffuse than M32, which is a much brighter, much stronger core for that elliptical galaxy. And you always have to wonder about the stability of these objects when they're orbiting another galaxy like this, because we do know of galactic cannibalism. And so that's having a larger galaxy steal stars and matter from another galaxy, ended up incorporating it in the larger galaxy. So it's interesting that we've got 2 pretty well-organized elliptical dwarf galaxies around Andromeda, that I doubt these 2 have been messed with as much as, say, some of the dwarf galaxies near the Milky Way, which there's been longer, deeper exposures in the region near the Milky Way show these long star streams coming off of the disk in certain locations, and that's where the Milky Way had a little bit of a snack. So
And the reason you see me looking up and down right now is because I currently have stacked monitors in my new studio, and I'm trying to compare Gary's image with Apple when they came out, not with Mountain Lion, but a couple of editions back. One of their backgrounds was the Andromeda Galaxy, but they'd erased either one or both of these little satellites, and I was trying to do a quick comparison. It's just one of those little things where Apple decided the actual universe wasn't pretty enough and applied Photoshop.
That made it right. If Apple decides it, that's it.
Yes, that's right.
I'm amazed that Neil deGrasse Tyson didn't give them a call and complain or something.
Oh, he probably did. But
I'm surprised that Apple didn't sue Andromeda for being pretty enough.
Well, I'm going to switch over to what Roy has got. So I moved over to what Roy Salisbury's got. And Roy, why don't you... this is kind of small. People might have a little hard time making it. What is it?
That is an edge-on spiral galaxy. It's NGC 891.
That's amazing. You can really see the
dust lane.
Yeah, the dust plane and that central bulge and that. But it's a fairly small object. Are there a lot of like edge-on spirals that we can see from our perspective? Like any really big ones?
There's.
You'd have to ask the Galaxy Zoo girl.
Do you classify some?
So that's an edge-on spiral galaxy. We can't tell whether or not... Okay, let me rephrase that. That's an edge-on disk galaxy. We can't tell because of how it's lined up whether or not it's a spiral or what's called a lenticular. But it's just a happy-go-lucky edge-on galaxy with a great, beautiful dust lane and a very small nucleus.
Yeah.
And that small
throwing
nucleus
out
means...
the Galaxy Zoo plug.
Well, so I now do Cosmoquest. So,
right.
So
the Cosmoquest
throw
girl
out
would
a
know.
Cosmoquest plug.
There's a number of pretty prominent edge-on ones, though. I mean, the Sombrero Galaxy M104 is probably the classic example. There's the Leo triplet, so there's M65 and M66, which are spirals that are torn to us, but there's another NGC object, I can't quite remember the number of it, that also appears in the same field of view with those two, and that's a very strong edge-on galaxy. So, but we'll have to wait until late spring before we're seeing either of those again. So
now you can't definitely see this in this picture, but I can. I can spot at least 5 other galaxies in this photo.
What?
Yeah.
Oh, I just lost
your photo just disappeared.
Yes, it did.
Are you reading out the next exposure?
No, for some reason it's just the connection. Oh, now it switched over to the small view.
I'll move to another object. I'm going to move back to what Gary's got. And Mike has just joined us, bringing us to the Jupiter, I think.
Yeah, I'm trying. It's in and out of trees right now.
Oh, that's frustrating.
Yeah, cool. I wanted to get in and show it off anyway, though.
No, it's fantastic. Where are you located, Mike?
Plattsburgh, New York.
Okay.
Upstate New York.
Yeah, way by Canada.
It's good dark skies up there.
Yeah, not right where I am though.
How were you? Were you hit by the hurricane much?
No, we didn't even get a breeze up here.
Oh, really? Wow.
Yeah.
That's great.
Yeah, we were all prepared, but nothing came here. Can't really complain though after seeing what it did to New York City.
Yeah. No, it was. I was there a few days later for. There's no way to say this and not sound crazy. I was there to film for a Nat Geo special, and I was sure the film shoot was going to get canceled, and the taxi cab drivers were also apologetic. They're like, we can't go this route, we can't go that route, these roads are closed, this part's... And flying in at night, there's just these swaths of no electricity areas that just looked like islands of nothing.
Wow.
Wow. That is insane.
Yeah.
We were mentioning, I guess, the week before the hurricane arrived that we thought if people got dark skies that, they might get a chance to see the Milky Way for the first time. People who are in the city. So I'm not sure if some people had, enough darkness that they could actually see the stars.
Yeah, I don't know.
So Scott, you've got a simulation here of Jupiter going.
I do.
Yeah, and so we can see where Ganymede might be located.
Right here.
And let me change the brightness.
Sure.
There we go. There's some moons.
Oh,
There's
yeah.
2 on the right and 1 on the left.
As predicted by Scott. So they're Callisto and Io, and then Europa will just be on the right. Oh, and there's
Science works.
We
There
got
we
the 4 moons.
Yeah, so we're going to go
Very
to
nice.
Kristian's view as well, and you can see the 4 moons. And so Ganymede, for the person who asked, is the one at the very bottom there.
That's awesome.
Yeah, nice work.
Yeah.
Actually, I think I
Really
see
cool.
a 5th moon.
That's no moon. That's a space station.
Is that in your... No, or there's a star in your simulation here, Scott.
Let's see, what is that? It's like Bob Star, has no name. Love it.
It's an 8.6 magnitude star.
Which is Bob Star.
Bob star. Well, that's good. Well, we'll keep coming back to Jupiter, so feel free to keep Jupiter in your view and.
I'll try my hardest right now.
Oh, it looks beautiful though. I can really see the dust lanes. Is there? I don't suppose there's some way that you can actually magnify that image. You've got the zoom there. Maybe you can you zoom it a little more? In your.
Let's see.
It says zoom 150, so I'm not sure whether you could zoom it
Yeah,
further.
let's see 200. I don't know how it looks on your screen. Not so good on mine.
Yeah, it's rather pixelated.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, 150 seems to be about the limit.
Yeah. That's cool. So BTL743 asks, how vibrant are the Northern Lights in person? I've only seen them in photos. So has anybody seen the Northern Lights in person?
Yeah,
have,
they are thoroughly creepy because they are bright. It's one of these things where I'll never forget the best time I saw them. I was up at a friend's cabin in New Hampshire, and there's a whole bunch of us there for a student retreat. And we're all having this debate around the fire, very serious and completely oblivious. And the owner of the house comes over and he's like, "Hey, guys, look up over there." And there's like this wall of bright, glorious, you can see them moving northern lights. And I'd seen them once before. They actually terrified me once when I was a small child.
Oh, really?
But good northern lights just take your breath away because there's something wrong about them. You just don't expect it. Like St. Elmo's fire is much brighter than you'd expect, except you should run away from St. Elmo's fire. You shouldn't run away from the northern lights.
No.
So I've seen them one time, and it was in the summer, and it was this kind of red, ripply sort of line that was going kind of almost overhead, actually, which was sort of strange. And I live in Canada, so we do see them pretty regularly.
Yeah.
But I've only seen them once. My dad keeps calling me and says, "Oh, did you see the Northern Lights last night?" And I'm like, "No." Like, yeah, I was outside, but he lives in a really dark spot, and he can go outside, just look up, and it's just gets the Northern Lights. But yeah, no, I've only seen them once.
I've had the chance to see them once in Michigan, and we don't normally, especially in Detroit, it's pretty bright there, but it had been maybe 8 years ago, and for some reason, it was just brilliant, and I was outside in Metro Detroit and was able to see it in the northern sky, and it was fantastic. It was absolutely beautiful, especially from an area where you're not used to seeing things like that.
So there was back in that year, that was the year I saw them in New Hampshire, and there were just many amazing flares that year.
Mm-hmm.
There's some great resources on the web, though, and so you can go to like Space Weather, and you can, from Space Weather, you can get an announcement of when various events are going to be happening, and it's quite amazing now. I mean, the science has gotten to the point now where they can look at the sun, they can see a flare, they see an outburst, and then predict with pretty good accuracy when we should be seeing northern lights, how strong they're going to be, which parts of the Earth are going to be able to see them. And and there's lots of services now online that will actually send you notifications of when there's going to be northern lights to see, possibly. and then but it still requires a certain amount of patience. It's like you have to
Right.
once you've heard that it's going to happen, then you got to go outside, stand outside, and watch to the north or to the south for sometimes a few hours and not see anything. Right.
The,
Gotta be willing to do that.
the, the neat thing that's making it possible is we're storing spacecraft in the Lagrange point between the Earth and the Sun, and they see at the speed of light when the flare occurs. They can then measure when they get hit by the particles. Particles have to keep traveling to get to us. Since we can calculate the speed the particles are going, since we know when the flare went off, we know when the particles hit the spacecraft, we can then predict very well, just using basic math, when the particles are going to end up hitting the Earth. And yeah, it's useful putting spacecraft far away from the planet Earth.
Well, that is a wonderful view of Jupiter. So this is the one from Kristian and Jens in Denmark, and it's color CCD, and you can really see just the beautiful brown colors in Jupiter. You can see the bands. I don't think that's not the red spot, is it? I don't think we've ever seen the red spot. Like, shouldn't we have like a 50-50 chance of seeing the red spot? We never seem to see it.
More like 40-60, because when it's on the edge of the planet, I mean, it's a little tough to pick up.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, you'd think we'd have a pretty good shot here. No, that's...
I don't think that's it.
No.
I can zoom a bit more.
Yeah, if you could, that would be great. It's like you're moving the telescope around. Where is it? There it is.
I've got it in the corner. So the thing is with Jupiter's weather systems, so on Earth we have high and low pressure systems. So you have a local region of low pressure like a hurricane or a region of high pressure that moves over and gives you good weather. On Jupiter, because of the rotation and the wind speed being as high as they are, it stretches out these high and low pressure systems into bands that circle the planet. So when you see darker areas, that's actually an area of higher pressure, and so just like on the Earth, high pressure clears out the clouds, so you can see deeper into Jupiter. When you look deeper in, you're looking to where the temperature is warmer, and it can cook more complicated molecules. So the molecules tend to get darker as they get more complicated, as opposed to the lighter regions, that's low pressure regions on Jupiter, and so they're seeing very high icy clouds, and so the pattern of light and dark is really revealing the pattern of high and low pressure bands on Jupiter.
That is fantastic. All right, so now Kristian, you guys said you're going to try for M44 next?
Yep, it's in the eastern sky, so you won't be able to see it from your...
No, I know. It's for a few more months. So I'm going to switch to Gary's view. Oh, and he's put on the California Nebula. Perfect.
Yep.
So now we know what this is.
That's the center section with the Bay Area right here.
Oh yeah, we ran nuts with the pareidolia with this the other week, or at least I did. I don't know.
Yeah,
So.
yeah. You can see the mountains. You can see the light from the LA basin.
Yeah, that's down here.
Yeah, you can see the islands off the coast of California. You could see people driving. No. Yeah, no, that's beautiful. And this is just a little piece. I mean, this is a huge, huge nebula, right?
Right.
It's about half of it. There's about a quarter above and a quarter below from what I'm looking at right now.
And what?
So that big star up there would be Las Vegas.
Right.
A little high, maybe Reno.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Reno.
closer to Reno.
Yeah. Now, what is the California Nebula?
So it's an emission nebula, meaning it's a region of hydrogen gas, and so places where there are very hot stars nearby will get the electrons to ionize out of the hydrogen, and when they recombine and fall to lower energy levels, one particular wavelength that will come from that is about 653 nanometers, and that is what a hydrogen alpha filter detects. And so what we're looking at through Gary's view here is selected to just pick out that one particular line from that transition of electrons in hydrogen and show us where the hydrogen is here in the California Nebula.
Just got a question from Sean Lally on YouTube. Can we get the Hangout in a higher res? We can't. This is what the resolution is for Google Hangout. So I know they're working on higher resolution solutions down the road, and if they ever do, we'll be glad to adopt them. But until then, we we have to just use the technology as we do. So
yeah, big thing at hand is just the bandwidth it takes for
Yeah.
1 hour of broadcast. I think it's a little over 2 gigabytes of data that goes through, and especially if you are not hardwired somewhere, like if we're out doing broadcasts outside, like when I was in Mexico doing the Venus transit, 2 gigabytes of data is a lot when you're using hotspot. So I think they need to work on that.
But I mean, I think they have the technology. I know with Obama's Hangout, they used a higher resolution, so it's certainly possible. It's just a matter of getting the technology ready for prime time and rolling it out. And so it'll be great. We'd love to.
Yes.
From our perspective, it looks wonderful here, and we're seeing high def in the Hangout, but unfortunately, it's it only gets broadcast as high as it does. So cool. Okay, well let's move on to Roy's view. Oh, look at that! Wow, Roy. So what's this?
This is M33, the Triangulum Galaxy.
And we had a lot of people over the last couple of months asking us for the Triangulum Galaxy.
This
we
is
said,
another.
Wait. Here it is.
This is another one of our local group galaxies. So it's us, it's Andromeda, it's Triangulum, it's dozens of dwarf galaxies, hundreds of dwarf galaxies probably. But this is one of our near big neighbors. It's smaller than us in Andromeda, but it's sure beautiful.
Yeah.
Yeah. You can see those clusters in the spiral arms. It's such a nice perspective to see the full galaxy like that.
So, should I put up my pick from last week then, since I don't know if there was ever an event? So
yeah, absolutely.
Because I was shooting full color, and
we got a color one of M33.
Oh,
Good.
excellent.
Okay. Yeah.
Well, so do I.
Yes.
Here's Scott's simulation in Stellarium.
That's right. I can make it dance. Yeah.
Kristian, that is awesome.
That's wonderful, Kristian. Is that live right now?
No, it's from last week or so.
Oh, I see.
Okay.
We tested out the 50 centimeter.
It's beautiful.
Yeah,
You did that
cool.
with a 50 centimeter scope?
Yep.
That's amazing.
Wow.
That's not a lot of light gathering power, so you must have had dark skies and just gone and gone and gone and gone.
Well, 50 centimeter?
Yeah,
That's-
so 50 centimeter, it's about 20 inch. It's still
Okay.
not that big.
Okay.
Do you have your picture with that?
Yeah, hang on, let me go get that.
Yeah, dig it up. But I like to put the emphasis on the live picture, so that's why we're gonna go back to Roy's view. How long of an exposure did you do for this, Roy?
That was 90 seconds.
Wow, really? Only 90 seconds?
Yeah, and the temperature's changing enough where the focus is starting to come out too. The stars are getting a little bloated there.
Oh, because it's got to be getting colder in your
Yeah.
New Mexico desert skies now, isn't it?
Yeah, as the temperature drops, the focus is going to change. So usually I have temperature compensation on the focuser, but I don't use it during this, and I'll refocus usually every 20 or 30 minutes.
Yeah, that's a beautiful, beautiful picture. Wow, I'm really, really impressed.
Is that
Nice work.
completely unfiltered?
Yes.
Yeah, that's the trick. The reason it takes so long to look at this one and get the beautiful color pictures like we're getting from Kristian is when you put a filter in to allow you to take the color image, you're not getting all of the light. And some of the filters, the blue filter in particular, they just don't have the same throughput. So to get that beautiful blue nebulosity, that's one of those things where you just have to sit there and.
Oh wow! So did you take this at Joshua Tree?
Last week, yeah. This is the processed version. So this is a stack of I think 6 or 7 8-minute
Nice.
images with a 9 1/4 inch scope.
Oh,
So-
fantastic!
Yeah, a little bit, good bit of playing in Photoshop to bring out the colors more and enhance the dust lanes. But yeah, this was shot last week after the
So this
star
is
party was
great,
over.
right? So we've got some perspective here. We've got the live view, essentially a 90-second view that was taken just a few minutes ago, and then we've got this is what it looks like after it's been. You said about 8 minutes total.
Yeah, a stack of Probably about 6-8 minute shots. So.
What filters?
No filter, just a color CCD.
Okay.
Yep.
Yeah. And then this is so how long was this one, Kristian? Your exposure?
300 seconds or so.
Right. Okay.
In each color filter.
In each color. Okay. So again, about about an 18-minute exposure, right?
Something like that.
Yeah. That's cool. Okay. So Chris Midden wants to know what constellation the Triangulum galaxy is located.
It's in Triangulum.
It's in Triangulum.
So
sometimes we're stupid when we name things.
There aren't a lot of stars in the Triangulum, right? I think it's just like a...
Well, there's a bunch of stars in Triangulum. Just depends how far you go.
The
then
bright
you get to galaxies.
The bright ones, yeah. Yeah, if you add up all of the stars in the galaxies in Triangulum, yeah. I'm going to go back to Gary's view.
It's right here on the border. If you see on Stellarium, there's Triangulum. Here's Pisces and Andromeda.
R.D. Brewer says, when was the War of 1812? So, okay, well, I'm going to go back to Gary's view now. Look, check it out. John Kramer's joined us. Hey, John.
Hello there.
How is your... Oh, look at that. Look at that view of Jupiter.
I've got to brighten that up. So
yeah, we'll come back to you. I'll watch, and when I see you've got it wrangled, we'll come back and take a look.
You're outshining me.
It's great. We got three views of Jupiter tonight. This is fantastic. We got Mike's view. No, that's a great view, Mike. Don't worry, you're doing great.
Gary has this adorable little spiral galaxy.
Look at that little spiral galaxy. What is that? NGC 6946.
6946. This is a request. Helen Reed asked for that. And also right down here in the corner is an open cluster 6939. Oh, excuse me. There we go. Mouse on the wrong picture. And I can zoom in and get a little bit better view of it. This is done at a 2x2 for 2 minutes.
Okay. So this is also known as the Fireworks Galaxy, ARP 29 because it's not perfect, and Caldwell 12, which makes it one of the best objects viewable from the southern hemisphere. And it's not quite a perfect grand design spiral, but it definitely has solid arms and a little bit of a bar in the center.
Definitely some asymmetry in the arms in the outer regions there. I mean, it looks like one off to the bottom and then two fairly strong arms off to the top. And so it'd be interesting to know if there was additional gravitational interaction from something passing by, or is this just how the spiral density waves got set up inside this galaxy?
It's definitely disturbed. I'm just trying to figure out what disturbed it. So I'm
well, we're all disturbed here.
But some of us are disturbed for reasons other than gravity.
Okay.
Okay, so John, looks like you got it wrangled.
Yeah, now this is a monochrome camera, so it's a little bit more sensitive, hopefully, but not going to be a pretty color picture.
Well, then we're going to have to ask you to leave.
There we go. Well, it was good. Good night, everybody.
No, that's fantastic. That's but look at the. I mean, you can really see the dust bands and the fainter features on it. That's fabulous. Look at that.
Yeah, we can see some of the festoons, it looks like, along the one equatorial belt. So these kind of wisps that, they look kind of like they start and then they go off just like this from one of the belts. So yeah.
Festoons aren't happy harpoons? Festive?
Well,
can go ask that white whale that they had floating around, or that they were, showing, I guess, in the news the other day. I don't know. So.
Look at that. That's great. So what's your setup, John?
I am using a Celestron C8 with an imaging source DMK21 camera.
Oh, look at that. Yeah, making it smaller like that worked really well. Making the window smaller actually makes it, still maintains it. Yeah, that's really good.
Good, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're getting a little bit of the software window here. That's how I can adjust some of the properties, obviously.
Yeah.
Unacceptable. No software.
Yeah, normally I kind of rail against software, but we'll let this one slide. Wow. Beautiful.
Hmm.
Somebody asked to see the fried egg galaxy. Is that the sombrero? Which is this fried egg galaxy? Is that the one that we just did? I don't know that
I
one.
don't know. That's a name that I'm not used to hearing.
Yeah.
Sounds delicious, though.
If anyone knows the designation for that, we can give it a shot.
And we need the Bacon Nebula next.
7742.
Yeah, that's what I'm finding.
Somebody
What's called that?
Somebody wants to see. Corey Wilder wonders if we could show some examples of gravitational lensing.
Probably not.
Probably not.
Yeah, unless we can get some time on the Hubble Space Telescope.
Yeah, and NGC 7742 is another Hubble Heritage image, so I don't think we can do a good job of it.
Yeah, unless we book some time on Hubble. Did anyone get any time on Hubble? Have you ever had time on Hubble?
Probably not in a way that we can view things live.
Right.
That would be so cool to get Hubble in a hangout.
Maybe Phil Plait can
that's
pull
not
some
gonna
strings.
Yeah, he
Co-host
worked
it
on
with a very large telescope.
Yeah. We should definitely call them.
Now here's a good one for Pamela from Belzer 1978. Can you point the camera to where the Big Bang happened?
No.
Yes, you can. Everywhere you point it.
Right?
Well, yeah, but yeah, you need one heck of a fisheye lens.
That's cheating.
Because it happened everywhere.
Yeah.
Let's see. We need more images, guys.
Coming up.
Okay, I'm going back to Jupiter then.
Coming up.
I'm going to go back to Jupiter because it's really nice.
Here, I got the moon for you.
Oh, perfect. Thanks.
Yeah.
Well, hey, you know what? Tell you what. This is time to mention that speaking of the moon, that the cool app that we've made, Phases of the Moon, there's a free version available on Android. So if you have an Android, you can get a free version of this. Shows you the current phase of the moon. Ooh, you can zoom in, zoom out. I guess I should go like this. There we go. All right. Shows you the current phase of the moon. You can sort of move it through its phases. It's got a background. It's got a widget, live wallpaper, and it's you can get a totally free version. So
the live wallpaper for it's awesome.
I know,
it's
isn't that just
really,
cool?
really cool? Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know if I can. Yeah. So there's the live wallpaper there. So that's actually the current phase of the moon. Isn't that cool?
That's awesome.
Totally
Shameless
free.
plug.
Shameless plug. Search on Phases of the Moon on the Android store, and there's a free version. Download it, install it, love it. All right. Let's
And
go
then
back
love
to
it more.
Love it more. And rate it. And rate it highly, of course. And if anyone can get the moon, John or Mike, that would be amazing, because it should be pretty nice right now up there, right?
It's below the horizon for me.
Oh, that's right, because you're more East Coast.
Yeah,
Yeah,
West
it's set at
Coast.
9:42 according to Phases of the Moon app.
That's true. It did.
See
does
how
set-
handy this is?
Yeah, exactly.
If any of our West Coasters have, I guess typically that would be kind of Stuart's domain, but he's not hanging out with us tonight. So
I could try it, but I'd have to switch over to my hydrogen alpha filter because it would be way too bright.
I don't think the moon is giving off a lot of hydrogen alpha, is it?
No, but it'll cut out a lot of the light.
So what happens? The moon in H alpha is a concept that sounds wrong, but basically it gives off, or it doesn't give off, it reflects a continuum of light that's basically a curve of intensity versus wavelength. What you're doing is saying, I just want this narrow band. So it's like looking at a white light and then saying all the different colors add together to make that white light. And I'm only going to look at the red in that white light. You can do it. It just sounds really funny to say you're going to do.
So Gary's got IC59.
This is a new one for us. It's the Gamma Cass Nebula. And I was just looking at what this star right here, I think that's Navi, N-A-V-I.
okay, I believe that's correct.
Yeah, and the predominant part is the nebula in here. So this is one that I ran across that we haven't imaged before.
Nice. Thanks for bringing something new to the party, Gary.
Always glad to help.
It looks like a cute little dragon creeping down your screen.
So we got a question here from Brad. What about Saturn? Can we see Saturn?
Saturn was in conjunction.
Too close to the sun.
Yeah,
I know.
Yeah,
just 3 weeks ago it was in conjunction. So
not yet.
What does
Never moved the
conjunction
ground,
mean?
though.
Using all these technical terms, Dad. What is conjunction?
okay, so this one my students say it's an astronomy class, but they say, okay, from your English class, give me an example of a word that's a conjunction, and the first word they always say is. Come on, somebody can. Yeah, an example of a
That was
conjunction
10 years ago.
As part of speech.
It's
And.
Conjunction,
Right?
Oh,
and, but,
I see.
or, nor. Okay, so the first word that comes to mind is usually and. So it's when you see the sun and Saturn right next to each other in the sky. Not that you can see that, but if two objects are together, so you see the moon and Jupiter. The moon and Jupiter are in conjunction. So hopefully, if any of you are taking Astro 101 and you need to remember what a conjunction is, then you can also possibly remember from your English class. Although that didn't really help here.
You have to remember it from Schoolhouse Rock.
There we
Conjunction.
go.
But yeah, I went straight to
Junction,
junction, and then couldn't get any further.
So,
What's your function? Yeah.
there we go.
So Saturn on the other side of the sun, right? Opposite of us.
Yes. So
I got it. I don't know what your guys' problem is, but
Oh, Scott's got Saturn. There it is. Did you have to hide the sun, Scott?
no, all I had to do was just delete the Earth and look down, and there it is.
Perfect. Right. So I mean, in conjunction. So you say it was 3 weeks away from conjunction. So when will it be visible in the morning sky? Probably still a couple of months.
No, it comes out much faster than that, but it's a matter of do you really want to be awake and looking for it in the muck along the horizon?
Right.
Well, we have some people in Denmark who'd be glad to do that for us.
Yeah, but it's the muck along the whole horizon
Around the
that's
horizon.
the issue.
Yeah.
Right.
So when will Saturn be nice to look at again? Why can I not get a straight answer out of any of you people tonight?
Probably February.
Okay.
Yeah.
February. It should be up well enough away from the sun and have enough altitude that you're a little bit out of the mucky muck.
Yeah.
So.
And then we probably won't be getting in our star parties until summer.
Right. May is
Right.
when it'll be at opposition. So.
What's opposition?
Okay. So.
What's the opposite?
This one is easier to explain.
Yes, when it's opposite the sun in the sky, right? So that means it's closest to Earth at that time. So it's the best time for viewing it as well. I mean, not that you get much of a change in the size of Saturn from when it's farthest from us to when it's closest to us, but that is when it'll be biggest, and it's when it's up all night long, so it's closest to the zenith, the point directly overhead, closest to midnight. You get the best views of a planet at opposition, and Jupiter will be there on December 3rd. So you can shoot Jupiter all night long on December 3rd.
Which is
Probably
kind of
missed
cool.
though. It's kind of far away.
I know I've seen a couple of guys in the my astrophoto circle who've talked about trying to do a 10-hour continuous imaging of it and then be able to show an entire rotation. Of course, that's going to depend on their weather conditions and whatnot. But
Yeah. Well, one of the big problems with doing that is you generally only want to observe things when they're within plus or minus 45 degrees of straight overhead. So when they're within this cone of the sky, and when you start to get outside of that cone, you're looking through so much muck in the atmosphere that Jupiter becomes a squishy ball and a jiggly ball, and it looks like it's like becoming one with an amoeba that's having a bad day. And so if you start imaging it low on the horizon, you're going to get jiggly, impossible to get a good understanding of Jupiter, and it's only in that narrow band that it really is worth observing.
Now, Gary, sorry to give you a hard time, but your view is blinking. So
Is it?
really,
It was doing that last week too.
Yeah. So I'm not sure why, but it's blink, blink, blink.
It thinks you're cute and it's just winking at you, Fraser.
It's really hard to.
I'm
really hard
not, not losing on my screen. I wonder what's going on.
Yeah. Just want to
You
warn
have
you.
upset the Google Pluses.
It must be. There's another note. IC59 is at a live shot. It's a 2-minute exposure, but it's live within 2 minutes.
Yeah. But yeah, do you have some other solution? Because it's pretty it's actually getting a lot faster now. It's blinking.
It's a psychedelic nebula.
Someone's going to have a seizure in a second if I put this back up on the main screen.
Gary, you just got Google minused. Sorry.
I must. Funny too, because I'm seeing it here on my screen.
So we're just going to enjoy this view of Jupiter. You were talking about time lapses of Jupiter. Mike Phillips has been doing some amazing work. So if anyone's really interested, do a search for Mike Phillips, and you can see some of the time-lapse animations he's been doing of Jupiter and getting big chunks of time as animated, little rotating Jupiter. It's just phenomenal work. And you can see like moons passing in front and the storms turning, and it's just amazing.
Yeah.
Cool. Well, we need some more images. Roy, Kristian.
I'm trying.
I got one for you.
Do you? Okay.
On the Bubble Nebula.
Nice.
And this is zoomed in on it. It kind of looks like the yin and yang symbol.
And this is from having a hot star in the center of it that has an amazing stellar wind, and that wind is blowing a bubble. And the stars that are capable of doing this are only very short-lived, and when they die, they tend to do violent things that often involve supernovae.
Oh, there's that blink back.
I don't know what it's doing.
It's blinking.
You got where the Bubble Nebula is there, Scott? Is that what you did? No, that's Deneb.
No, I was looking at Deneb and fixing other things.
Where can we find the Bubble Nebula?
Here's Cassiopeia and Cepheus. And it's going to be right in over here. I don't actually have it resolved in this.
But you can see that cluster that was in the same field of view there over on the right.
I was going to say, don't we have a variable nebula like in Monoceros or near Orion?
That one. That's just cool and creepy.
We could also just say that Gary is showing an extremely variable nebula here, the blinking. So,
blinking.
It's a blinking planetary.
Someone asked to see the Eagle Nebula, but I don't think we can see the Eagle Nebula
below the horizon.
We
lost it.
Too close.
All summer long was the Eagle Nebula party, and everyone was asking for Orion, and now Orion's coming back, and now everybody wants to see. People, they're never happy.
They're just
you can never make everyone happy when we only can see half the sky. Now, we could just get rid of the sun and freeze to death, and that would kill two birds. There wouldn't be anyone to whine, and we could see the entire sky. But I don't think we want to go with that option.
Mankind has wished to destroy the sun. Scott has destroyed the Earth to get this view of the Eagle Nebula, which is nice, Scott. That's great.
Hey, I am the great destroyer. You are welcome.
Yeah, but we had all late spring and summer. It was Eagle Nebula all the time, and now it's about to become the Orion party. So,
which I am all for. I love imaging Orion.
Yeah, and the Horsehead Nebula, and the Trifid Nebula, the Rosette. The Rosette's going to be coming back.
Well, Trifid's a summer object.
Yeah, Trifid's more of a summer. Sorry, yeah. I'm thinking the Rosette instead of Trifid.
It's the Rosette that you love, yeah. And we get the Owl Nebula back, I think.
Yeah, the Owl is right next to Merak in Ursa Major, so right near one of the handles at the end of the cup. So yeah, that'll start coming up higher and higher with the galaxy M108 right next to it. They make a nice pair in a field of view.
What's it on your screen, Kristian?
Sorry, I had to unmute myself. It's M96. It's a galaxy.
Okay. Beautiful.
So another barred spiral here, and I think it was M96. I think it was M95 last year that had a supernova. That was visible.
Yeah.
So, but the two are very similar looking, and they're also quite close together in the constellation Leo. So you have the one triplet of M65, M66, and that NGC 3000 something. I can't quite remember the number as one triplet, and then there's M95, M96, and I believe M105 make another farther spaced, more angular distance between the galaxies triplet, also in Leo. So this is one of them.
What's awesome is, so you see the central nucleus, a bar, a ring, and if this exposure was longer, we'd see the arms going out beyond this. So this is a very complex geometry, and trying to explain systems like this is one of the things that keeps galaxy astronomers going.
You can see Scott's got it on the simulation on Stellarium.
Yes.
And you can see that it really is a very compact object compared to a lot of the more grand spirals, isn't it?
I think it's cute. Well,
how can a galaxy be cute?
I anthropomorphize it, and now it's cute.
Yeah.
You have to admit, some of the disturbed galaxies are disturbed in ways that make them endearing, like tadpoles and mice.
And noisy astronomers.
Oh. Well, yeah.
And now, I guess that might be something to request even from if anybody's watching who's a developer on Stellarium. Like, would it be possible to adjust the graphics so that we could see? I mean, because right now the structure that's showing in the Stellarium view, it would be from a very deep exposure as opposed to the one we're getting live from Kristian.
Yeah.
And would it be possible to adjust exposure in Stellarium to show here's the inner workings as opposed to the outer workings of this galaxy?
There's a lot of objects that aren't even in Stellarium, so I think
yeah.
you're asking for the world here.
And I do have all the additional packs installed right now, but
okay.
Yeah.
More packs, more.
Now, Kristian, before we wrap up tonight, can you bring the Orion Nebula?
Or he's saying that he can move to M1 so we can start getting the crab.
Yes.
Oh, sure, M1 would be great. Yeah.
Jens is just moving the dome.
Okay.
It's not on remote.
He's pushing the dome around. Okay.
No, it's a button, but we'll have to do it up in the dome. Can't control it from down here.
That's how I got through my graduate degree, was going out periodically and moving the dome and hoping there wasn't a skunk in the dome.
So that funded your degree.
I'm not sure it funded the degree, but it definitely facilitated the degree. And not getting sprayed by a skunk was something I succeeded at. PhD, almost as important as not getting sprayed by a skunk.
There's no need for the tomato juice death.
Back to Gary's view here. Crescent Nebula.
That is what that is.
Nice. That's quite a bizarre-looking object. I wonder what's causing it. Is it a supernova remnant?
I believe it is.
Actually, this is a Wolf-Rayet star in the middle.
Okay.
And so this is gas that's billowed out from it, and you're seeing shells of gas that have first expanded away from this supergiant star, and what we're left with is the core, which is much hotter and much bluer in the middle. At some point, that's going to blow, and we're going to end up having another star in Cygnus for a while when it does finally go supernova. So.
Yeah, it's really blinking badly, Gary. Sorry, I gotta move away from it.
Yeah, I don't know why. I don't know why it's doing it.
Can you try shifting your camera to yourself and then back, or try restarting
I tried that
application?
And I tried. I tried other screens. The problem is, I'm just using share screen, and I tried this one, which is my whole foot control screen, and it was doing it too.
Yeah.
You might want to talk to the developer. You know what's weird is every time Pamela talks after you, she stutters as well. This is really strange. There's a very strange something going on here.
There's got to be something between screen share and maybe my particular hardware that it doesn't like.
Gremlins in the system tonight. Got a comment from Gathia Weiss. Thanks for putting on the virtual star party here in rainy Bellingham. How else we know there's a universe out there beyond the clouds? I'm just a little north of you, Gathia, and it's just pouring rain here on Vancouver Island. Oh, what a nightmare. Yeah. Can anyone do IC418, the Spirograph Nebula? Has anyone done that? I don't know if that's up.
It's below the horizon.
Below the horizon.
If you can see through the planet, we can take a picture.
I can see the planet.
There we go.
I wasn't paying attention though. So what are we looking at?
IC418.
Let's see.
And so for anyone's wondering, this is Stellarium, is the software that Scott's using, and it's just amazing software for
free,
seeing.
completely
and free. Runs on Linux,
source.
Runs on Windows, runs on Mac. Yeah, it's fantastic. Nope, I don't even see it.
I've been trying to get more galaxies, but they're too small. All the good ones.
They're pretty big.
It's that whole distance thing. The 1 over r squared bites you every time.
Yeah. I shot M1 last week. I mean, I know the rule is it has to be live, but I did.
We can see your picture. Yeah.
Okay. Okay. So there's from last week from out in the desert for M1. There's the crab.
Oh, that's fantastic.
So
you can really see the structure in there too.
So those were, I think, 5-minute exposures.
Cool.
Nice.
And was able to take 7 or 8 of them to stack.
What's your camera?
How long were you out there for?
Just 2 nights. I mean, it was there. Saturday night was too windy to image, and then Sunday night I was awake till probably about 3 in the morning imaging. We had Veterans Day off that Monday, so I was able to, to schedule things that way.
Yeah.
But yeah, the camera is an ATIC 314L Plus color CCD camera. Had it cooled about 3 degrees to 0 degrees Celsius. Let's see, and
by the ambient air.
Yeah, almost. Essentially, it's like a 1400 by 1100 pixel sensor, and I mounted with Hyperstar. So I remove the secondary mirror, and I'm imaging at prime focus for that. So I'm able to get a nice wide field of views. So what we're seeing here with the crab, this is actually it took a just the very center region. This has been processed some, so that I'm kind of zoomed in on where the nebula actually is. So the M33, the shot I had of M33 before, that was more along the lines of what the full field of view of the camera and telescope combination is.
Well, I'm going to go back to Gary's view here before it seems kind of stable.
Blinking.
Oh, before it starts blinking.
Blinks out of existence.
Gamma Sig.
Yep, the Gamma Sig Nebula.
Wow. What is your pareidolia telling you this is? What do you see?
I see ears and nose and grumpy little, poodle. The bright part is like one ear, and then there's the other ear, and you see the 2 dark parts are the eyes.
Actually,
I think it's the tail.
Yeah, okay, I see it.
You know the story about unless you're the lead dog, the view's always the same? This might be that view.
I see that view too.
Okay.
I can't unsee it.
I prefer to see the face of a poodle. I'm going to go with the face of a poodle.
Aww, the face of a poodle. Well, what is it? Is it another big old emission nebula?
Yes.
Yeah.
So, and right near the center of the Northern Cross, or the body of Cygnus the Swan, depending on how you want to look at it. So through that thick of the Milky Way, there's a lot of extra hydrogen gas, a lot of extra dust lying around, and it's just lying around in space. It just, nobody swept it up. They combined to make patterns like what we see here, the face of the poodle, or if you're coming at it from the other end, I don't know. So.
And for those trying to Google Gamma Sig, the Sig part is CYG.
Yeah.
Or you could put SAD or SAD.
I spelled it wrong, didn't I?
So.
But in a most delightful way.
That's right.
It's your signature. So
and Gamma Sig isn't actually part of the nebula. It's just a foreground star that's about halfway between us and all of the gas.
Oops.
Still a nice F0 supergiant, if I remember correctly, though, for Gamma Sig.
Yeah.
Well, we're nearing the 1 hour mark, and we're losing telescopes and all that. So I think we'll start to wrap things up. Did you?
Okay.
I know the folks in Denmark have another image. I think they need to line it up first of the Crab Nebula, but that's really cool. You can watch to see how this gets done. Oh, there it is.
It's the very scientific way to do this.
Move it a little more, a little more. That's great.
I think we need to move the blue one.
Yeah, nudge, nudge.
Nudge.
And real quick, BTL 743, I am reading your comments, so stop crying.
We're seeing your comments. Okay, well, I'm going to start to wrap things up. So I'm going to say goodbye to... Oh, that's great. Look at that. Look at the Crab Nebula. Oh, that's
Very
beautiful.
nice.
Oh, very nice.
Can you make it a little bigger?
Yep, coming up.
There we go.
You're using RGB filters?
Yep.
Awesome.
Oh, that's
Wow.
really nice.
Very nice. Yep.
Wow.
Something
I love
weird
this.
going on up here.
I love the sneak preview. So again, when I call this a sneak preview, most of our telescopes are on the west coast or in the middle of the United States, and so it's great to be able to see some objects that we won't see for another few months in that same time frame. Although you can absolutely stay up until 3 in the morning, and then right there it is.
Like we did.
Yeah, exactly.
It's 4 a.m. here.
Oh, you guys are
I'll be up at 4 a.m. here,
Wow.
so props.
Perfect.
Also,
Well,
just one, sorry.
go ahead.
One
Go ahead,
thing.
Dad.
Since we have some astronomers from Denmark, I'd like a clarification on a pronunciation here for the name of the astronomer who had the nose piece because of losing his nose in a duel. It would have been from Denmark, right? Which is Tycho or Tycho Brahe?
Tycho in Danish.
Tycho.
Really?
Okay.
We've all been teaching it wrong.
All right. Thank you.
Oh no.
And one quick thing for those of you who want to learn more about galaxies, we are going to be teaching a new galaxies course, 4 weeks starting next week. It's going to be taught by Ray Saunders, dear astronomer. And so if you're interested in signing up for that, it's not free because we have to pay Ray. But if you want to learn more, here's your opportunity. Go over to CosmoQuest and check it out.
Fantastic. Okay, well, I'm going to say goodbye to everybody. So thank you very much to Gary for joining us and bringing us the views. That was fantastic. Thank you very much, John Kramer, and that beautiful view of Jupiter. That is fantastic.
Always fun.
Can you throw a picture of that into our into the event after the fact? That would be fantastic.
I will try, sure.
Thank you, Kristian and Jens. It was great to see you guys live in the Star Party, and it was a treat to have somebody from Europe. That's really fantastic.
Thank you
Always
so
is.
much.
And thanks, Mike. Whoa, there's Mike. Great, and bringing the East Coast. Thanks, Mike.
Not a problem. Have a good night.
And there's Roy Salisbury. Thank you very much, Roy. All right,
No
and I will
problem.
thank our color commentary, Dr. Pamela Gay, Scott Lewis, and Thad Szabo, and I think that's it. And me. Goodbye. We'll see you guys later.
Good night,
Bye-bye.
everybody.
Clear skies, everyone.